So it's officially been a full month since I got fired from my corporate job. Well, fired / laid off. And honestly, I've never felt more free. Honestly grateful for it. I'm like filming on a new camera, by the way. This is my first video back, so if you see me looking into my viewfinder, please just mind your business. I'm still learning where to look. Let's talk about this quality. We're back here with a new camera. I invested in myself and I'm so proud that I did. Moving on to me getting fired. What? Let's take it back to about a month and a half ago. For those of you who didn't know, I was working in corporate America. I had a full-time marketing assistant job and it was a vibe. Like marketing, if you know a thing or two about marketing, you know marketing is kind of like all about the vibes. Like it's a chill department to work in the most part, and it can be fun. But when you're working for a startup company, there's a lot of things that are uncertain and there's a lot of things that you kinda gotta be ready for. And this was a startup company. Startup company with pretty good funding from what I knew, so I felt confident in it. It can be the thing with startups. It's either sink or swim, baby. Like, you know what I'm saying? They either got it or they don't. I definitely was running into some things where I was like, is this typical for a normal job? You know, I'd never worked for a startup before, so I was definitely seeing things that didn't seem normal. Despite it being lots of fun, there was definitely a lack of structure in the job, which as a worker can make it kind of difficult. You know, we usually go into jobs and they tell you this is exactly what you need to do, and then you have some room to be creative and come up with your own things. But this job was kind of like, hey, we have a very loose outline of what to do, everything else come up with. But then if you come up with stuff, I might also tell you to stay in your place. So it's kind of a hard dynamic to navigate. And it was my first experience, again, working a full-time job, working a corporate job, and working for a startup company. So this was a lot of firsts for me. Fast forward back to about like a month and a half ago, we had just done an event. So essentially what we do is we set up marketing events all around the state. We'll go to different dispensaries. I was working in the weed industry, by the way. So we would just set up marketing displays in different dispensaries, and you know, we attract customers, we give out free stuff. Again, it's a vibe. But one of the people who had started working for us, he messed up. You're supposed to bring a tablecloth and like pop-up banners and all these things to like make the event look good, and like, you know, so you have a branded experience. The thing about marketing, it's all about like brand awareness, building brand awareness essentially, and pushing your brand to the masses. Like that's the point of marketing. Vibes should be there, your branding should be there, like all of that needs to be on point. And he kind of forgot the main components that would help us brand and market successfully. Forgot the tablecloth and various other things. My boss blew up on me. He's like, Melissa, this is your responsibility. How could you let this happen? This was actually a day when I wasn't supposed to be working. Like I worked Tuesday through Saturday and I had Sunday and Monday off. A little different from your typical Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. So this is a Sunday, my day off. Keep in mind, I'm just the assistant, right? On Sunday, I'm checked out, you know what I mean? The day before Saturday, I make sure to get everything ready, I make sure everything's good, and that's about the best I can do. When Sunday comes, I'm gonna say, hey, did you get to the office? Did you grab the stuff? Did you make it there? Are you sending the pictures to the group chat? Okay. You know, I was kind of telling my boss how that bothered me. I was like, hey, you know, I would appreciate if you wouldn't schedule events on Sundays because that's not my day to work. Like, I don't wanna be sitting here calling, having to check up on people and make sure they're doing their job on a day when I'm supposed to be relaxing. So I had been telling my boss this and he kind of wasn't really understanding. Now something goes wrong on my day off, which I told him would happen, and he's getting mad at me. And I told him, I'm sorry, I understand. To be honest, this isn't my work day, and I expressed frustration with you before about not wanting to work on my days off. He kind of just dismissed it. Keep in mind, my boss lived out of town. He lived in a completely different state and he would occasionally come to visit, not very often. So we did not have a manager on ground, on duty in our department, like at all times. Like that was not a thing. I think he thought I was supposed to be the manager, being that I was the assistant. But again, if my title is an assistant, I'm here to assist, I'm not here to manage. And hey, maybe that's me being new to corporate America, I'm not sure, but I'm part of Gen Z, baby. If it's not explicitly stated in my job description, I'm not going for it. We're in the generation now where we're honestly educated about our worth, and like, a lot of us are not gonna stick around for a job that is trying to get us to do the most without giving us the title or the pay. If I notice you trying to get me to be a manager, but you wanna call me and pay me like an assistant, I'm kind of like, oof, that's tough. Unless I'm working for a company that I'm super, super passionate about what I'm doing, I would like die on a hill for it, I'm probably not gonna go out of my way to do the most for this job. So he's like, Melissa, I'm coming into town on Tuesday. This is on Sunday. He's like, we'll talk about this when I get in town on Tuesday. I'm like, okay, bet. I'm kind of an outspoken person. Like if I feel something is wrong, if I feel I'm seeing issues, I'm gonna express it, and I'm good at communicating. So I'm pretty good at like having adult grown conversations where it's like, hey, you know, I just noticed that maybe we could try this, or maybe we need this. You know, I'm good at bringing those things up. So now it's Tuesday, he gets into town. He sits me in the office and I don't know what to expect. I'm assuming he's gonna be mad at me. I'm assuming he's gonna be pissed. Me and him had already had a little bit of a rocky relationship. And I just felt like he would be blaming things on me. Like, let's say he messed something up, he would wanna find someone to blame, and it felt like obviously since I was underneath him, I would be the one to get the blame. For me, I didn't like that. I'm like, I feel like my boss should be able to take more accountability and, you know, just keep it real. But again, there's certain politics that go into these corporate jobs. So sometimes your boss is gonna get mad at you when really it was them who fucked up. In this case, it wasn't him. It's not like he messed up, but I told the guy, stop scheduling these events on my day off if you want them to go smoothly. He didn't listen. It doesn't go smooth. So now we're here. I'm prepared to apologize and take accountability for the fact that a mess up took place, even though it wasn't really my fault. Anyway, we get in the office, my boss is sitting with me. I'm not really knowing what to expect, but at this point, I've kind of determined the fact that I don't love my job. I'm not super passionate about it. I'm starting to get dissatisfied with the lack of structure and the lack of direction that I felt like we were going in. I felt like there was so much room for a manager role, and I was ready to take on the role of being a manager. But when me and my boss talked this day in his office, he was not going for it. Let me paint the picture. I go into his office, I sit down. First thing that comes out of his mouth is, Melissa, I'm not happy with your performance. Me, being an understanding person, I'm like, okay. He goes on to tell me that he's very upset with the event that had happened, how the tablecloths and everything weren't properly set up. He's telling me he's pissed, we messed up. He's telling me this can't happen again. And he's telling me this is my responsibility, I messed up. I haven't been doing my job well, I haven't been being professional. He can tell that I haven't seemed like I'm very into my job. He can sense that I kind of lost the fire that I had in the beginning. He's saying a lot of things at the time, and I'm like, wow. He goes on to ask me, he's like, Melissa, are you happy here? I think I'm just such a bold person. Maybe I just don't care. Maybe I just don't care. I was like, to be honest, no. I'm not happy here. And the reason is because there's a lack of structure, there's a lack of like teamness. It doesn't feel like I'm a part of a team. I'm just here in the office by myself most days, not having much to do. Like, if that's the case, I would love to work from home. Let me work from home. And he's like, no, you're not working from home. And I'm like, okay, fine. And I'm like, well, I'm noticing there's a lack of structure, so I feel like we need a manager in this office since you don't live here, and someone who can be available 7 days a week to get the job done no matter what. I would love to do that. And he's like, oh, you're not ready to be a manager, Melissa. You're not ready. And I'm like, okay, fair. If not me, then someone else. And he's like, so you want someone else to do what you're supposed to be doing? And I was like, well, to be honest, I'm an assistant. You know what I mean? I can help, I can do the best that I can, but when it comes to managing a team of people, especially on my days off, I'm not getting paid for that. And I'm not even getting the title that would grant me that either. I'm an intelligent young woman. I know how to stand up for myself, and I know how to defend myself in a respectable manner. I think that was something that he didn't like about me, because he knew I was outspoken. He knew I was gonna express my feelings, and he knew that I was really good at articulating myself, and I was really good at poking holes in his arguments. I think that's why me and him kind of would butt heads, but I knew that he really liked me as a person. Like, I think he liked a lot of things about my personality, but I do think we butted heads because I wasn't a yes man like he was expecting. So he's telling me all these things, how I've been unprofessional, all of these things that kind of just really felt made up, because I was like, tell me how I've been unprofessional. This job as a whole is unprofessional as fuck. How am I the problem? That was when I knew, like, he's just pulling stuff out of his ass. When the relationship between us, I think, had broken down is when he literally told me, like, oh, you think you're so perfect that you can't do anything wrong? And I was like, my jaw was literally on the floor. Like, I'm someone who can take accountability. If you tell me I did something wrong, I can take it, you know? I'm not perfect, but I'm someone who can genuinely take accountability when I mess up. So for him to sit there, it was a different conversation, but he would kind of just hit below the belt. Like, I'm like, hey, these aren't things a boss should be saying to their employee. You think you're so perfect and you can't do anything wrong. Like, I felt super, super attacked in that moment. It was just like, yo. So the relationship really began to break down a couple months before this happened, when me and him had that conversation where he was really hitting below the belt, and I was like, dude, this is mad unprofessional. Mr. Unprofessional, you know what I mean? I was like, don't you dare talk about unprofessional when a week ago you were trying to like talk to me like I'm your girl or something. Those aren't arguments you have boss to employee. That might be an argument you have with your friend, with your frenemy, with your girlfriend, with your man. Like, that's not a way to talk to your employees. So I already knew something kind of wasn't right just based off the way he would handle things like that. He was not able to take accountability, would want to constantly push it on me. And then when I refused to take accountability for his mistakes, he's like, oh, you just think you're so perfect, don't you? So it was getting a little unhealthy. So now when we're sitting down and having this conversation, oh, I'm ready, honey. I'm ready for whatever below the belt things he has to say, because babes, he's asking me, so are you happy here? And I was like, to be honest, no, I'm not. There's no structure. I think we need a manager here. I would love to do it. If not me, someone else. Again, he goes into argumentative mode. Oh, so you think someone else should do your job? I'm like, nope, I never said that. I'm just saying, personally, that's not my job. If you want me to do that, promote me. He's like, that's not gonna happen. We don't have enough money to do that. That's not gonna happen. And I was like, okay. And he was like, well, you have 3 options. I was like, lay them on me, okay? I think at this point I was just over the job. Whatever happens, happens was my mindset at this point. He was like, your first option is you can do exactly what I'm telling you to do, which would basically be being a manager without being a manager, without getting paid to be a manager. And he said, you can be under a microscope. A microscope. Like, he literally said a microscope. You can be under a microscope and go on a 3-month probation. Or 3-month, like, what did I even do? 3-month probation. Or you could take severance pay, which would be 2 months of your salary up front, and you would then stop working for us. We would part ways. Or you can work for us part-time, and, you know, maybe we can just do some part-time work. Despite us kind of butting heads and me being annoyed by the way he was handling the conversation, I do appreciate the fact that he offered me multiple options. A lot of times you get fired or laid off and it's just like, all right, bye, good luck. Here's the website to unemployment. Like, I hope you, I wish you the best with that, you know? But luckily for me, they gave me a great package. Technically, it's like a layoff, you know what I mean? It's not really like I got fired. They can't say that per se. He was like, those are your options. And I was like, okay. I was like, I'm probably gonna take the severance. And he was like, I could tell he was shocked. I was like, I'm probably gonna take the severance. I just feel like, you know, you and I's relationship has kind of deteriorated. We've kind of butted heads a lot. And I think that this job just isn't for me. And he was like, okay, I understand. You know, that's cool, you're young, I get it. You know, you should go do what you love. I was like, thank you. That's what I'm gonna go do. We left it at that. And that is essentially the story of how I got fired / laid off from my job. It was super random and unexpected. But in reality, I had been praying about my job. I had been asking God, like, God, please guide me towards a job that's meant for me. And I've been reading more. I've just been relaxing more. I've been really enjoying my time away from work. And like today, it's a Thursday at like 4 p.m. and I'm filming this video. I went to the gym this morning. I went on a hike. I got to really sit down and do my skincare and, you know, do my makeup. So I've really been enjoying, you know, this time to slow down and just enjoy life, because I feel like that's what life is about. It's meant to be enjoyed. I was really relieved. Like, to be honest, when we had this conversation, I felt a weight lifted off my shoulders. I felt freed. I literally felt free, because I'm like, yes, finally, I can go work on my content. I can go build a business. I can go be my own boss, which is what I've always wanted to do anyway. So it really felt like a blessing in disguise. And if anyone is experiencing getting laid off or fired from your job, I would encourage you to look at it as a redirection. You know, now you get the opportunity to think about your next step. And for some people, it can be really difficult because you have kids and you have a family, and I highly recommend, you know, definitely applying for unemployment if that's your situation. Luckily for me, I don't have kids. I don't have anyone that is responsible, that I'm responsible for. I just have rent to pay. So I'm luckily in a really fortunate position, and I'm grateful that it happened this way. I'm just excited. Like, I'm really excited. I feel free. Genuinely, I feel free. Because if you know me, you know I was never like a corporate girl. Like, nothing about me screams corporate. Nothing about me screams corporate. Like, I am very go with the flow. I'm a huge creative. I have a very just like quirky, unique personality. I knew before I went into corporate that my personality wouldn't fit with corporate America, but I did what everyone told me to do, which is get a job. And now I got laid off and I'm like, yay, I'm happy. Like, now I can do what I always wanted to do. I tried it, guys. There, I worked a job. There, I did it. Now, please leave me alone. Don't talk to me about any more jobs. I'm gonna go be my own boss, okay? Like, leave me alone, I beg. Oh my gosh, it's getting dark, so I gotta stop filming pretty soon. I'm so excited for the doors that this will now open for me as far as having more time to make YouTube videos, having more time to make content. I've been working on a podcast. I've been working on music. If some of you guys don't know, I make music. I don't have anything out yet, okay? I'm still like keeping my stuff in the stash. As I say, I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit, in that place where I'm still trying to get confident in putting it out there, but I'm working on a podcast, working on doing the things that feed my soul. And I'm just super excited to see where this takes me, where this gets me. And yeah, for anyone who's been laid off or fired recently, because I know it's happening like across the board. If that was your dream job, I'm so sorry. I know that could be obviously a really difficult feeling, losing your dream job, my gosh. But just know that there's gonna be better for you out there. And if that was a job you didn't like anyway, then good riddance, goodbye, like to hell with it. On to the next, we're on to bigger and better things. And that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm super excited about what the future has to hold. And yeah, my lighting is like totally ran off on me. Okay, I have a ring light, so let me not act like I have like no access to lighting. Let me just switch the lighting really fast so I can give you guys a proper outro. That was basically all I had to say. Is yeah, your girl got fired, okay? And I'm happy about it. I feel excited. I'm ready for what this new chapter has to hold for me. I have passion projects that I'm working on that I'm excited about, and I'm ready to just, you know, do me. Like I'm done doing what everyone tells me to do. I tried it, I did what y'all said, I got the job, and lo and behold, it's not secure. Lo and behold, you can lose your job at any moment. Lo and behold, the security that everyone says that you will get from a full-time job is not guaranteed. You know what I mean? So if you're someone who's like questioning if you should go after your dreams or choose corporate, both of them are uncertain. One is a little more uncertain than the other, but they're both uncertain paths. You can lose your job at any moment for any reason. So do what you want to do. Just do what you love is how I feel. Do what you love. You obviously got to pay the bills. I'm not saying to be delusional, but everything is uncertain. Life is uncertain. You could die at any moment. You know what I mean? It just reminded me of the basis of uncertainty in general and how nothing is promised, nothing is certain. So I think in this life, the best that you can do is just live the life that you love. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm so looking forward to making more content for you guys. I have so much to say and so much to share. So I'm really looking forward to making content and bring you guys along with me. I have like a little pocket-sized camera now. I'm gonna be bringing you guys everywhere. I'm so excited. And yeah, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel, and follow me on my social medias. Would love to see you guys over there. Also comment down below any other videos you guys might like to see from me, anything else you'd like to know. And I will see you guys in the next one. May you be loved, may you be healed, and may you be at peace. Bye, my loves.